everyone. How are we doing? Sam here, United People's TV. I've left my fan in the background. Oh, well, it can stay there. It's been an interesting week with Manchester United. It's been an interesting week for me personally as well. There seems to be chaos coming from every single direction. And that's what I called it. It's like an unrelenting week of chaos. I don't really know how to describe it other than what we've sort of seen. I'm going to be speaking this morning. All the latest news from the last 24 hours. You know how it works here in these morning news shows. I cover it all for you to bring you bang up to date what's going on with United. We're going to speak about more allegations, fresh allegations from two more women against Antony. We're going to be speaking about the sort of... This Sancho situation seems to have taken a strange turn in the media, which I want to run through and discuss live and direct with you this morning. We're going to speak about Christian Eriksen bagging a little hat-trick of assists for Denmark against San Marino. There's a little positive for you. It is map day. There's another little positive for you. There's little sprinklings. But look, anybody who's followed United People's TV for long enough will know that I'm a pretty positive person. I will always try and find the positive angle. This has been a very testing week, to say the least. And I think it's kind of a good thing here on United People's TV. Whenever it's negative, nobody tunes in. It's because the channel is not built on negativity. I don't thrive in negative situations. I'm not very good in negative situations. Well, it's not that bad or good, but the United People's TV doesn't thrive off Man United being bad. All right. So, you know, that's like an accusation that gets thrown at certain people. But I'll run through it all with you as much as I can, and I'm going to speak about it as clearly as I can. But who's here from the member gang? Let's have a look. Chris, good morning to you, my friend. Josh, you're there whilst walking. How you doing, buddy? Bishal, you're there. Nathan Owen, you've got Chris, you've got DP. Paul, Ant, you're there. Gwyn 4, Jake, Chris Boyle, Hybrid Hunter, the biker boy. That's two different people. Stu Backer, J Mike, Nino. Good morning to all of you. Who's on Facebook? Lee Murgatroyd. I think I'm going to go for you, and I think that's how I pronounce the name. Edward Jones, you're there as well. Shailen Singh, we've got Emma Bullis, George and Kui. We've got Nathan Chilo, Racy Antony, and we've got Stephen Lawrence. Good morning to all of you. Later in the show, a little bit of positivity. We're going to whip the map out, but that'll be later in the show. And let's just start with some good stuff. Some happy vibes all around. Christian Eriksen yesterday bagging a hat-trick of assists. Yeah, it was against San Marino, sure. But still bagging a hat-trick of assists. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Go on Twitter or something, because I'll get slapped down for copyright. One of them was an absolute scorcher. Like a lovely back heel assist in between like three defenders. Perfect. Perfect. It'll be good if Christian Eriksen can find some sort of a happy medium in this squad this year. Last year with Christian Eriksen, he was awesome, but he expired before the end of the season because he was never brought into the club as somebody who was going to be starting every single game. But it ended up being that case. Lisa, you're saying, not true, Sam. 2 assists, 1 goal. No, it's 3 assists. Trust me. The United tweeted out that it was 2 assists, 1 goal. It was to do with like an own goal. Was it an own goal? Did it. It's a hat-trick of assists. All right. But big up to Christian Eriksen. And you know what I want to speak about here? I had to properly zoom out on this photo. The bloody size of him. I remember seeing a photo like that. I think it was it Valbuena? I remember like an old school photos. Like, I think Valbuena was a French midfielder against someone else, and he looked like a dot. But yeah, Rasmus Højlund, the absolute size of him. Woo! He hit the post against San Marino yesterday. Didn't score. But I just can't wait to see him at the club, man. That's definitely the biggest positive I've had this week, was being able to do that video, sort of analysing Højlund's debut against Arsenal and all the positives you can take from that. Really, really is. He's an absolute... It does look photoshopped, but I swear on my life it's not photoshopped. That is a legitimate photo direct from Getty Images. The bloody size of him. It makes a big difference, man. It makes a big difference. United have just not... I think I covered it in my positives from the Arsenal game. How often in these last few years have you seen United like do a throw in into a centre forward, and the centre forward just shoulders back, just holds the defender behind him, and the defender can't get to the ball without fouling him? And it might be minor. But it's simple. It's a very easy way to progress the ball forward from a throw-in. It's just we haven't had that for a while. It's just I'm not going to wax lyrical about the fact that he can hold the ball from the throw-in, but it's Antony looks like he stood in the curb. He's only 22. He's only 22. Man, what a bloke. Yeah, someone down there speaking about Weghorst bagging yesterday for Netherlands. Should probably get him on a short. No, let's not get him on a short-term deal. Yeah, Gabriel was struggling against him. Both Arsenal defenders were struggling against him. But yeah, big up to Weghorst for scoring for Netherlands. Right, I had a smile on my face. Let's tone it down a bit because we had confirmation there yesterday that Sofyan Amrabat is injured. Now, of course, that's caused a bit of panic. I think is a fair way to describe it. Just a little bit of panic. He has left the Morocco national team environment, whatever it is, training ground, and he is returning to Carrington to work on that injury. Now, I hope that this is correct, and I hope that this is nothing more than a precaution. You know, in the same way that Martinez was probably fit to play against Argentina, but is it Scaloni, the Argentina manager, said, look, there's no point in risking him. No point in risking him. So they didn't. And I hope Martinez isn't playing the second game. I'm guessing this is nothing more than Morocco kind of taking precaution. We're going to have to presume that it's to do with the same sort of back concerns that existed that the Athletic pointed out that were sort of dismissed in the week by the press. But look, it's not considered a major setback. I don't know who Moroccan Grinter is. These are just what the whispers are. I'm hoping it's nothing more than a precaution. So I'm not going to come here and just start like screaming about injured players and left, right, and centre. But he has left the Moroccan national team. He has returned to Carrington. So fingers crossed, this is nothing more than just a precaution, and we'll see Amrabat in the starting 11. But yeah, he has been withdrawn with injury. Fingers crossed it's nothing too serious. All right. Now, we need to speak about. It's something that I was thinking, like, do I speak about this on the show today? And I was like, yeah, I do. Because there's just this weird feeling I get. Weird feeling I get? I don't know how to describe it. But it's around this story, right? First of all, this story is despicable. How can somebody who's managed a Manchester United ladies team for 18 years, how can the club not be aware that he went to jail for 4 years and is on the sex register and is a convicted paedophile? First of all, I don't know how that happens. Like we might not know who he is. And I was speaking with the lads in WhatsApp. He goes, I have no idea who he is, but it's not your job to know who he is. But it is United's job. If you're going to invite him back and you don't know that. But as has been said by James Ducker from the Telegraph and by a lot of people, is, you know, this only came to light this week. And for me, it's just, why on earth? How would they find that information out? Because there is no journalist in their right mind that is going back looking through the guest lists at Manchester United over the past year or so to try and find some dirt. Now, maybe. I mean, I can't completely rule that out because certain members of the press might do that. But it just seems like a really weird coincidence that it's happened in the week of, I've called it the chaos week. I don't remember. I've covered United for a long time in my own way. Okay. Not in the same sort of way as an established journalist would or a newspaper, but I suppose I'm part of a new breed of media. And I've covered United for a long time. This genuinely feels like a strong tip-off has been given to the press. That's what it feels like to me. That it feels like it might have come from Manchester United more than anything else. And there was a good tweet here by was it Alice Abrahams, sort of just it makes you take a step. I could do a video on this today, but I really don't want to, and I don't think I will. Because the negativity is just, it's kind of all consuming. But if you look at the list here of the things that have happened in these last 3 years. 3 women, of course, now accusing Antony, and I'm going to run through those. The Sancho statement, the Greenwood situation, the takeover, Ronaldo, Baye coming out, what he was saying. I remember that interview. Lingard falling out with the club. Lingard and Martial calling Ragnick a liar. Dressing room leaks. Yep, Arnautovic situation, mate. There are so many more things that could be inside this. But this one in particular, to me, and I mentioned this to you, as I said, I'm in the realms of conspiracy theory now, which is really not where I like to be. I think it's dangerous. But I mentioned to you early this week, I said, we as fans are so frustrated with what's going on with the Glazers. We're angry beyond belief that they are still dragging this out. But there are quite literally thousands of people employed by Manchester United who have not had job security for a year now and still won't have job security probably for another, well, to the end of the season, because the Glazers probably aren't going to do anything. It feels like they've gone so far, the Glazers, that the cracks are going to start coming from within now. That's what this feels like to me, this story, because how on earth would that story have come to light? Who would know? Who would know that? It doesn't quite match up to me. So that's just a personal feeling about what it is. I hope that's the case, that it is now not only the fans working to try and get the Glazers out, that also there's going to be people inside the club that are trying to chip away from the inside out. Quietly, anonymously, but I hope that's the case. Yeah, it's been a heck of a week. It really has, in terms of covering the news, in terms of all the stories that have come out. Jack saying, does it matter who would know it happened? Well, the press didn't know. And this is the point. This is the point I'm trying to make here. Look, none of the established, but nobody knew about it. It only came to light this week. Now, that could just be a coincidence. All right. Coincidences do exist. But I don't particularly believe in coincidences. I think coincidences, if you chip away at it, you'll find a root. You'll find a reason. But yeah, something doesn't feel completely right about that. I'm going to go down there and see what you're saying in the comments. Chris saying it's called doing your due diligence. Like, as I said, I don't know how on earth you can miss that. Convicted for 4 years. And it's not as if he's like a random player who played for United 3 times back in 1987. It's somebody who was in charge of Manchester United ladies team between 1983 and 2001. You'd think they'd know that. It's not our job to know that, but it is theirs. Well, I suppose all we can do is just sit and sort of find out. Right? So just kind of watch it unfold. But it really does feel that there's still more to come. It really does. And well, we've all been covering and following this story this week. I've done my one video on the channel where I ran through what had happened, and I turned the comments off on purpose, and I will say every single time, this isn't a conversation about who did what and who's guilty or who's innocent. This is me covering the news and the allegations that are continuing to come out. Please respect that in the comments. Mods, you have permission to ban anybody who doesn't abide by those. And if you get banned, that's your own fault because you've been told. All right? Antony. So Manchester United, the allegations against Antony came from his former girlfriend. They date back to June, I believe. I think that was when she submitted the report to the Sao Paulo police. But it was only this week where the report was made to the Greater Manchester Police, which escalated the situation. Manchester United released a statement saying that it's all ongoing. We won't further comment on that. And then Manchester United ended up getting sort of embroiled in the whole situation with accusations directed at Manchester United themselves that they were involved in covering up what Antony did, which Manchester United, of course, have completely denied. So that's happened. And then, on top of that now, 2 more women, former partners, former lover, I don't know. 2 more women have come forward with their own allegations against Antony. So now there are 3 different women. I believe only at this moment in time, only one of them has gone to the police. There's going to be an interview on Sunday, which I think that is, I'm presuming that is a photo of in the Telegraph. And so there's more information that's going to be coming out over the weekend with regards to the Antony situation. Manchester United have released a statement saying that nothing, they're not, at this moment in time, Antony is not suspended. And, well, it just, there's more to come with this one. Absolutely, for sure. There is more to come. The allegations are very serious. They are very serious. They're not something that United couldn't just ignore. And, well, we will have to find out when we know more about the situation. But as I said, I'm just bringing you the news that there will be more allegations coming against Antony over the next 48 hours. And then on top of it has been this situation with Sancho. It's completely and utterly different to the Antony situation. And I suppose I'm kind of sorry for Sancho and sort of bringing it up in the same conversation, because this is just a professional dispute between a manager and a player, and what should be said and what shouldn't be said, rather than something completely different. So Jadon Sancho, rumours sort of tried to emerge yesterday that Jadon Sancho was going to be going to Saudi Arabia. That didn't happen. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. Maybe it would have been a nice, easy, short-term solution for all parties, but no. Anyway, he didn't go. Now, this Sancho situation for me yesterday in the press, it took a really weird turn in the press, right? And it's with stuff like this. Sources around, this come from Rob Dawson from ESPN, as you can see. Sources around United describe Jadon Sancho as a complicated character. He can be loud and extroverted, but he can also be very reserved. At an Adidas kit launch in Melbourne in 2022, he asked the event host to avoid asking him questions and focus instead on Bruno, Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, and Scott McTominay. Further here, some United staff members find Jadon Sancho to be rude and withdrawn, while others describe his demeanour to being simply shy. At one pre-season broadcasters' day, when players were asked to fist pump and kiss the badge, it was difficult to get Sancho to even crack a smile. And I'm reading all this, and I'm like, what the hell has that got to do with Jadon Sancho's statement? You know, I mean, I was probably guilty of this myself. I know I was. You know, whenever Martial didn't smile, and everybody was like, "Why is Martial never smiling?" It kind of became part of his like a personality trait. But dude, like, if Sancho doesn't want to smile, Sancho does not have to. He does not have to smile. If Sancho doesn't want questions to be asked of him there, then he's allowed to ask. And that's what I mean when I say it's taken a weird turn. It's taken a weird turn there. Like, I'm all for discussing and disputing and arguing and debating whether Sancho should have said that statement and whether Ten Hag should have gone out in public. But to sort of go in and just, it's kind of like character assassination. I can't remember who it was. I'm trying to think about it. It's like, when was it Ben Stokes, I think. Randomly just come into my head. Like, when Ben Stokes was absolutely nailing it for England. You know, Ben Stokes always had that bad boy character. It's an incredible redemption arc for him. But I'm pretty sure I remember when Ben Stokes was like towards his peak, like, stories came out about like a brother or a sister that had been adopted and that went somewhere else. And I was like, what has that got to do? And it was just the press digging to look for dirt to try and sort of slap on Ben Stokes at that time. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was something to do with that, something to do with the family thing. It was this is just weird. As I said, I'm here and I'll argue whether Sancho was right and whether he was wrong, but to just have a go at him for not smiling and to say that he doesn't want questions being asked of him, it's like, that's trying to drag someone down. It's Roy Keane didn't smile much. What a terrible footballer. Boot him out. Boot him out. He didn't smile much. But that was weird. And look, I found this weird as well, right? I found this really quite strange. Sammy Motbolt from Daily Mail, he's actually been all right this year in terms of reliability. He's saying, look, Man United were not cleared to go public over Jadon Sancho's mental health before Erik Ten Hag revealed he had been struggling in a press conference. And we remember what the press conference was, but maybe you don't remember exactly what he said. So I wanted to run through exactly what Ten Hag said. So the headline here is saying, United were not cleared to go public over Sancho's mental health before Ten Hag revealed he had been struggling in a press conference. These are the full quotes of Erik Ten Hag. I don't think he will be back this week. No. We want to bring him back as quickly as possible, but I can't give a prognosis of when that will be. Sometimes there are circumstances with fitness and mood. We got a drop of quality level, and sometimes you don't know why or what is causing it. That is what we are doing now to try to get him back there. It is a combination of physically and mentally. It's hardly, I mean, it feels like a very fair thing to say. And it feels like this, it feels like there's more to come with the Jadon Sancho story. It feels like there's more to come with the Antony story. But Erik Ten Hag did not did not have a go, pull out his mental health and say that he had been struggling with mental health. He just completely gave an overview of Erik Ten Hag, of Jadon Sancho's been struggling. It may be fitness, it may be mood, it may be physical, it may be mental. I mean, get stuffed if you're going to try and say that is such a stretch. That is such a stretch. And for me, that feels again like the press just trying to dig their arm in and make that rift wider. Because it's obvious there's a rift, all right? It's obvious that, I mean, Jadon Sancho wouldn't have put that out. I'm presuming he still got it as his tweet. But to try and say that Erik Ten Hag exposed Jadon Sancho's mental health struggles is a massive, massive exaggeration on Erik Ten Hag saying that there are sometimes circumstances with fitness and mood. It's a combination of physically and mentally. That is such a stretch. And in my opinion, it is. Look, the newspapers love nothing more than chaos at United. People's TV does not do well. I would much rather be here singing and you start winning all the pots again. I'll be delighted, you'll be delighted, and then United will be back. And that's what we all want. It's not what the press wants. United ruined childhoods for like 20 years. Any opportunity they can to twist the knife, they will twist the knife. And it feels like that's kind of what's happened in these last 24 hours with the Jadon Sancho situation. The conversation's now moved on from whether Ten Hag was right to do it or whether Jadon Sancho was right to say it, to now Ten Hag didn't have permission to speak about Jadon Sancho's mental health, even though he didn't really specifically say mental health, and it was overall a review of his character and where he was at that moment in time. And then you've got different reports sort of attacking Jadon Sancho's personality traits. It's Prince, you're saying it's just the press finding ways to escalate the situation, and they are. And I can't say that I'm completely innocent from escalating situations because I'm a different form of media. We have conversations here as a community every single day. But I try not to. I always try to avoid hysteria where possible. But even this week has absolutely got the best of me. Even this week is the best of me. Got the best of me. Showtime. There's a couple of super chats here, and I'm going to go and read a few of your comments out now. Showtime, he's saying, this is why Ten Hag should not have said anything. The media is vile. Keep it in-house. The media is vile. I always do say keep it in-house. So my feelings still, and I'll probably kind of change my mind here and there about this, but I would always like it to be kept in-house and behind closed doors. But if Ten Hag did decide, which he did, he decided to say that, then Ten Hag clearly felt that everything that he has tried indoors and behind closed doors, has just not worked. and Ten Hag felt that a different approach was needed, not one that Jadon Sancho agreed with. JDM, how you saying? I don't know why, but I do believe Sancho is acting like this since his BFF Greenwood is not around anymore. I mean, that's a bit of a... That's the sort of thing that belongs in the Daily Star, that. I don't know how you're making that link. I'm sorry. I have no idea how you're making that link. What are we saying down here in the comments? Man, these comments are tough. These comments are tough. Nicole, you're saying, do you think this will be the last we see of Jadon Sancho after all this? I think I asked you yesterday. I said, what do you think is going to happen next? What feels like could happen? What feels like it could happen? Right. Jadon Sancho is a Manchester United player at the very least for the next 3-4 months, at the absolute minimum. So therefore, it's in Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag's interest for this situation to be resolved. So how do we resolve that situation? That's got to be the conversation that is had now. It's not about who was right, who was wrong, and Ten Hag and Sancho going for a slagging match. That's the only... Everybody loses there. Ten Hag loses, Sancho loses, Man United lose, right? So we need to find a way to kind of resolve this situation. Sancho's burned a bridge by doing that. I imagine that Ten Hag has probably burned a little bridge with Sancho by saying that in public. What I think could happen here is like a proper clear the air talks, man. Because I think Sancho is fair to have grievances with Ten Hag for saying that. But on the flip side, Ten Hag is like, dude, you had 3 months off. You've come back in. You're still not doing it. I need you to do it. I need you to perform. I need you to be Jadon Sancho from Dortmund. Where are you? Show me. Give him. These conversations need to be had. So it's either that or Ten Hag is going to be pure stubborn and stick by his guns, and then Sancho's just going to get dusted to the under-21s, which could happen, right? Because it was a bit of a... Sancho releasing that statement was a sort of a... Not an attack. That's the wrong way to describe it, but it was a challenge to Ten Hag's power. I'm hoping that it's clear the air talks. They resolve it together behind closed doors. I imagine you might get an apology from Jadon Sancho for the statement. And maybe you'll get Ten Hag speaking about how the fact that he's going to keep things behind closed doors permanently from now on, which I doubt you'd say. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know the nuances of it all. But I'm hoping that they have clear the air talks, because it doesn't help United, and it doesn't help Ten Hag to have a player who just does not want to be there and stinks out the place. We've already got one in Harry Maguire. Well, Harry Maguire said he wants to challenge. We tried to sell him. He knows he's not wanted here. So the personality, the mentality is not going to be quite there. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments, right? I like how they're not mentioning the discipline problems he had at Dortmund, says Ben. Well, I've mentioned that already. And as I said, the paper trail with Jadon Sancho doesn't end with Erik Ten Hag. The paper trail with Jadon Sancho goes the whole way back to when he was 17 at City and breaking through into their first team. Didn't make it onto the squad for pre-season tour, and then just didn't pick up the phone when he was called in for training the week after. What else are you saying down here? Paul, you're saying the media need to realise Ten Hag is from the Netherlands. I don't know whether that's a lost in translation thing, that one there. You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe that could just be, instead of mentally, he might have meant mentality. It could just be, it's a combination of physically. Nah, but he says physically beforehand, so it's unlikely. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's lost in translation on that one, if I'm being completely honest. What else are you saying down here in the comments? This is top-level sport and not a playground. Mate, top-level sport, we can only begin. We can only begin to imagine the levels of pressure, the levels of scrutiny that come with being not only a footballer, not only a Premier League footballer, but a Manchester United footballer. it's pretty much the toughest of the tough. And to be a £70 million plus signing, it's honestly, I don't think there's a tougher environment in the Premier League for a football player than that. Being a big money signing at Manchester United is the single hardest situation to deal with. I mean, from a pressure perspective, you can let me know if you disagree with me in the comments there, but just the amount of scrutiny that our club goes under, the amount that people want us to fail, yeah, it must be the hardest environment. That's why so few, I suppose, succeed in it. And you're saying, look, if I'm Ten Hag, thank you very much for the super chat, dude. You're saying you're playing the next 3 games, go and prove me wrong. Yeah, I want Sancho to prove me wrong. I want Maguire to prove me wrong. I want everyone to do what Wan-Bissaka did. I'll be eating humble pie all day. I'll become a beast. And I think, as I said, it doesn't help Ten Hag and it doesn't help the club for us to have a feud between Ten Hag and Sancho that just doesn't get resolved, doesn't get discussed, and just bubbles under the surface between now and January at the absolute minimum. That's not a solution. That's called kicking the bucket down the road, which is exactly what United do, actually, overall, if you look at how they've handled the Greenwood situation and everything else in between. Showtime, what are you saying? I believe Ten Hag was fueled and frustrated with the Arsenal result, and he was prickling. I agree with that. There's a very good comment there. I think that Ten Hag, this is the mad thing, right? This is the stupid thing. If that Garnacho goal wasn't offside, none of this would have happened. The whole week with Sancho and Ten Hag, none of it would have happened. But it may well have just been delaying it. So it might have happened a little bit further down the line. But it certainly wouldn't have happened this week. It did happen as a consequence of United losing against Arsenal. And Ten Hag, at that point, going, yeah, well, McTominay was ill and Sancho, he just didn't perform well enough. So he got left out. Which is not a bad thing. Jeez, we're going round and round and round here. Let me see what you're saying. I fear for United this season, says Fele. I don't know whether I fear for the whole season, but it's been a tough week, right? It has been a tough week. As I said, I'm normally someone who can find the positive and the spin here or there. But look, Fabrizio Romano here saying this, like, the situation between Ten Hag and Sancho is very tense. They'll try and resolve it next day, as he's saying, direct contacts. And I think they do need to resolve it. And I think they can resolve it. What's this one here? Oh, yeah, there you go. There's the witch hunt continuing. Mark Ogden from ESPN. It's turned into apparently I missed the gong. Sorry guys. You can have a double gong. A free double. I think it was, who was it? Was it Jack? Was it someone down there? I'm sorry everyone, I'm a little bit distracted. That gong is so loud. But yeah, you got just another one here. Like, all the players are now saying that Sancho, but that's just like, this should be resolved between, I suppose it should have been resolved. And this is what happens when you go public. All this stuff can happen. Let's see what happens over the next 4 days. Because normally players that don't go on international duty get a little bit of a break, don't they? So I imagine he would have had his break. He'd be back at Carrington. Speak about it. Talk it through. And I personally think we might get an interview with Jadon Sancho in some way, shape or form. So he can say what he wants to say and what he feels he needs to say. Because clearly he feels like he needs to defend himself. And if he wants to defend himself, and he wants United fans to, because it's very, as I said to you earlier this week, it's really hard to properly empathize as a football fan when the only insight we get into something or a situation is what we see in a 90-minute game at the weekend. Clearly, there's more to this Jadon Sancho situation, and no one's ever denied that. And I'm not saying that we're owed an interview from Jadon Sancho. We're owed an explanation. But I think at this point in time, it would be something that helps Jadon Sancho. I'm not saying full-on 50-minute conversation like Dele Alli with Gary Neville, but I'm saying just a little bit to sort of help us understand more, Jadon, as to what has gone on. Let United fans help United fans to help you, right? That's what I would say. There's another super chat there from Harry. What are you saying? United, it took, if you look to the 90s, 2006 with Fergie, made Beckham shave his head. Do you remember that? The long hair. Beckham was I don't think anybody has ever looked better than David Beckham with like 6 different haircuts in his life. He's gone skinhead. He had like hair down to there. He had pony. He had top knot. He had the whole shebang and he looked great every time. Bastard. I look bad enough with his hair. Let alone if I was bald. Jeez. Times have changed, I suppose. Times have changed. There is a lot more player power in the modern game than there ever was in Fergie. Fergie would hate football now. Absolutely hate it, because the rise of agents and the rise of player power, he would have been constantly at war. Absolutely constantly at war. No, I'm not going to be getting I'm not going to be getting a mohawk. Yes, Matt, being disgustingly handsome does help. Hence why I only look good. Well, actually, no, I don't really look good. Look average. But I'm fine with average. Average. Nothing wrong with being average. A video I did yesterday, I thought was quite a nice little positive video. Well, it depends how you look at it. I ran through the whole... Man, it's so hot in here. Why is it that sometimes remotes don't work and then you slap them, they work? Weird, isn't it? No, don't... stupid bloody things. Turn the wrong way. It's not helping me at all. I'm still scorching. I did this video yesterday. Did it on Man United's squad overall. I looked at each position. I looked at the strength in depth, not the starting 11, in like the second and third choice in each position. And I ran through and I was like, where are the big weaknesses this season? It was a nice little video idea to do when, well, when everything seems to be sort of on fire around us. You know that meme with the dude sitting on the swing goes, everything's fine. And you're just looking at everything's burning. You might enjoy that video. I did that yesterday. James is saying, I missed that big whiteboard. The whiteboard that used to be there. I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, right? My goal for the next transfer window, maybe in January time, is to make that whiteboard digital. I think that would be a really wicked evolution of the community and the channel. This whole thing over here, you wait till you see what's coming there. That's going to look sexy. So sexy. I can't wait for that. And the new software. This week, I've been working really full tilt on the shop. I'm redesigning everything. We're working on new designs. That's taken up my attention. Next week, I'm going to be working on the new software. And I've got a brand new touchscreen monitor here that I want to bring in and evolve the tactics videos on the channel. Bring in sort of like Sky Sports style on-screen tactics. That would be really cool. And so would a digital board there. But it's all in the works. It's just the evolution of the I always say to you, like, the community, as we grow, I invest more back into it, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I could green screen the whiteboard, but that'd be cheating. That'd be cheating. Right, look, let's finish on a positive note. Come on. Let's bring up the best map in the world. Let me know where you're watching from, the town and the country, and I'll add a few of you onto the map. Most recent countries, we've had Poland, St. Lucia, Lebanon, UK, Namibia, Portugal, Malaysia, Germany, UK, Fiji, Malta, Kuwait, India, USA, Norway, and Cyprus, and the Netherlands. Look at that. I need to somehow give you all access to this map so you can have a look. I can share the map. Does that mean that you'll be able to edit it? I don't know. Oh, no. Damn it. You know what I've just remembered? Once. Damn. Who remembers what I've got to do now? You're going to have to... Let me just leave a picture of Giant. Where is he? Let me leave a picture of Giant Hoyland on screen so you can marvel at that whilst I update the payment options. Because, of course, we pinned out. Upgrade that. Yep. Subscribe. There we go, ladies and gents. I think we're in. I think we're good. I forgot about that. The map got upgraded. So I'm pretty sure that we can add more on here. Let's add some on. We've got Jim watching from Canberra in Australia. I'm pretty sure we've got Canberra on there already, but I'll put you in anyway. We can test the map out. Canberra, Australia. Can we get 501? Yes. The map's back in business. The map is back in business. Now I've got to upgrade when we get another 500 points on this map. So once we get to 1,000. Let me see what else we've got down here. We've got Botan watching in Nonthaburi in Thailand. I didn't go there. Where's that? I've been to Thailand twice now. Nonthaburi. Love Thailand. I like pad thai. Pad thai in Thailand is like the cheap street food, but pad thai at home is great. Community to buy United. Stop the gongs. Stop the gongs, save the pounds. We've got Antonio watching from Rockford, Illinois. How you doing, dude? Welcome aboard. Winnebago. No name of a car. It's one of the old school cars. Let's get one more on here. Where we got? We've got Lewin watching from Yangon in Myanmar. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Honestly, this whenever I do this map, I say it every week, but it really is the coolest thing. Look at it. Look at all around the world where everyone has tuned in at some point in time to watch United People's TV. I love that. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of it. I put my name on it. Great community. It's been, as I said, a tough old week of bad news. It doesn't feel like bad news is finished. I personally feel that there's more that's going to be coming. Well, I know there's more that's going to be coming on Antony. All right. We know that. And it feels like the Sancho situation, there's more to come on this. I'm hoping that there can be a positive end to the Sancho situation. It doesn't help United if we now have a player in revolt and a manager who doesn't want to use him. That won't help United at all. So fingers crossed they can get that resolved. But thank you all for tuning in. I don't know what my lunchtime video will be today. And I tell you what, if I can't find the right positive angle, I won't do a video. I'm not going to do a video on, I could do a video on the negativity. I really could. There's about 6 different things I could do on negative. I'm saying that's not going to help anyone. Certainly won't help United. So if there's not the right thing to do, maybe I'll come live for an extra show tomorrow. I'm undecided as to what content's going to be going out over the weekend. But I'll tell you what, if you're in the UK, enjoy it because we've got some scorching heat wave. It's been a tough week as United fans in terms of the news coming out of our club. We're halfway through the internet, mate. International breaks are hard at the best of times, let alone this week. My word. Let's find out what goes on. Big up to all of you. Have a cracking weekend. I'll be here. I'll probably be here tomorrow. I might be here later on today. Depends if I can think of the video to do. If you've got any ideas, go into the Discord. Throw me your ideas. Maybe you can find a good one. I do listen sometimes. Take it easy, everyone.